So once we've installed the BibleGet plugin, and we activate it, here we see the latest version 6.3. Let's see how we can use the Gutenberg block, the Bible quote block, to add a Bible quote to a post or a page. Let's go to Posts, Add New, and let's add a title here, and BibleGet quote block. Add a new block. You can see the plus sign here, Add Block. If you click on that, and if you go to Widgets, under Widgets you'll find the Bible quote block. So go ahead and click on that, and it'll render automatically a sample Bible quote, Matthew 1:1-5. You can change the Bible version that you would like to quote from, for example, Italian, Latin. You can quote from more than one version if you hold down Control and click on another version. Here we have, for example, English and Latin. We can change the Bible reference that we want to quote from. Let's say John 3:16. And we have a number of styling options. We can decide to show the pop-up instead of the whole Bible quote, a pop-up that you can click on. It'll show the quote in the pop-up window. Then we have a bunch of styling options. Before we look at the styling options, there's this new search option here. So if we don't know the reference that we want to put on here yet, we can go to the search box, and we know, let's say we know a word that's in the verse. For example, perish or eternal life. Okay, when you're doing a search by keyword, you cannot select more than one Bible version. So, okay, let's select just the English version, and then we'll search for perish. And that was pretty quick. That got these results from the BibleGet server. Genesis, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua. There's quite a lot of results here. But if you know the general area that you would like to quote from, I was expecting to see results from John also. John 3:16 does have the word perish. I'm surprised it does not show up here in the results. Judith, Esther, Maccabees, Job, Psalms, Proverbs. Oh yeah, there it is, John 3:16. For God so loved the world. So you can choose from these results the quote that you would like to insert. You can't insert it directly from this window. For example, if we wanted to put in John 6:27, the results are ordered by significance. They're not necessarily ordered by book and chapter, because sometimes you can find partial words. For perish, we'll also find perishing and similar results. Even if you looked up a partial word, I think it might work. Let's see. No, it has to be an actual word. Anyways, so yeah, you could find the results that you wanted from the search window, but then you'd have to remember the reference such as, let's say you wanted to get it from one of the, there's too many results for this one. Let's say Luke 8:24, Master, we are perishing. Luke 8:24, Luke 8:24. Oh, it didn't pick it up. Luke 8:24. There we go. Master, Master, we are perishing. Okay, so we have the search functionality to help us there. And we have a number of options which will allow us to change the layout and the styling of the Bible quote. And just a heads up that these will apply to all Bible quote blocks and to shortcodes. Any changes made here will be synchronized and saved as user preferences. So, if you, for example, the Bible version, which in this case is the NABRE English version, you can choose to show that in the center, on the right. You could choose to show it below the Bible quote. You could choose to put it in parentheses or in square brackets. You can change the... So we have options for the layout, where we want to show it, and we also have options for the styling, Bible version styles. You could choose not to have it bold. You could choose to have a larger font size. EM, you can change the unit for the font size. EM will be relative, so relative to the parent, or let's say we wanted it to be 0.8 EM. If you're using EM, this number is going to be divided by 10. So instead of 8, this will be 0.8 EM. And let's say we still want that to be bold. And we want to change maybe the color, font color. We want to have, I don't know, blue for the Bible version styles. And let's say we want to change the styling for the block. We can go here to General Styles and border color, for example. We don't like the green. We want that to be blue too. And we could make it thicker if you wanted to. Let's keep that at 1. Let's say we want to change the background color and have a lighter background color. Okay. And the width on the page, you can make that tighter or larger. The block is centered on the page if you're using auto as a unit for the left and right margin, and when it's on auto you can see that the slider is disabled. If we set it to pix, we'd be able to use the pixels, we'd be able to use the slider. Then you'd just be setting basically the left margin. The left margin would have precedence, but it would not be centered on the page. If you want it centered on the page, you'll have to use auto, and then the slider will be disabled. You can set the margin top, bottom. You won't see a difference here. You would only see that if there were other elements on the page. And the width on the page, if you have internal padding, you can see here the left and right padding. You can give it more internal space on the left, on the right, on the top, on the bottom. If you're using internal padding, you will not want to crank the width up to 100% because padding is added to the width. So you would actually have a size which is greater than 100%. So it might start spilling off the page. It might be a good idea to keep that slightly under 100. I don't know, 90% or 85%. And the changes that we make here will be synchronized and saved. So for example, let's say we go to add another Bible quote. You can see that we'll have the same styling as the last one we just added. We can change the version, we can change the Bible reference, but the styling will be the same. And if we save the draft and go and preview the draft, let's see here, we can see that they both have the same styling. Let's say we wanted to use a shortcode instead of the Bible quote block. So let's go back to our page here. Let's say we wanted to put a shortcode in between these two blocks. So insert before, and when we go to add our block, if you go to widgets, you'll also find shortcode under widgets. And you can insert here the BibleGet shortcode, BibleGet/BibleGet. And you could use the query parameter here, but if you're using an opening and a closing shortcode, as in this case, you don't need the query parameter. You can put the quote as contents of the shortcode. So 1 John 4, 7, and 8. Of course, you can't see the results in real time like you can with the Bible quote block. But let's say we save our draft again and go and preview. Let's preview the result. And you can see that our shortcode is rendered with the same formatting, the same styling, the same layout as the other. There's at least visual consistency between the shortcode and the Bible quotes. Let's say you already have shortcodes on your page which you would like to turn into Bible quote blocks. You can do that as long as if they've been cached, and if you've had these Bible quotes that are they'll be cached in your website, and the upgrade from a shortcode to a Bible quote block has been made possible only in some of the more recent changes to the BibleGet service endpoint. So you would have to have a refreshed version of the results from the endpoint in order to be able to do that. So if at least a week has gone by, which perhaps by now it has, you should be able to upgrade. You see here, change block type or style. You can see that Bible quote will show here, transform to Bible quote, because it sees that you have a BibleGet block shortcode. So transform it to a block, and you can see that it kept the Bible quote and the version. If you had specified a version, let's go and add a shortcode here. Let's say we specified the version. Let's say we wanted to quote from the NVBSE version here. And let's say we use the query parameter instead of an opening and a closing. Let's see, query equals Romans 1, 5 to 8, I don't know. Transform Bible quote. There. Oh, it didn't pick up the version. Well, look at that. I have to look into that. In any case, well, I'll look into that. In any case, you can, once it is a Bible quote, then you can go and change the options from here. That's simple enough from the sidebar. If by chance you don't see the sidebar, if, for example, you see a page like this, it's easy enough to get the sidebar back again. Just click here on More Options, Show Block Settings, and then you can change all the settings here. And remember, any styling settings should be synced and changed for all blocks. So let's see if we go and change here the border width to 2. You can see that it changes it for all blocks. Save draft, preview, and the change is made for all blocks. You can see that this one is from the Latin and these are from the English. Very well, so that's how you can add a shortcode or a Bible quote block, and how you can change positioning and styling. There are many options for the layout which you can look through. For example, the book in the chapter, you can center the book in the chapter and you can see it changes for all blocks. You can show the full reference for the book in the chapter, add the verses along with, even though it only updated it visually on the current block. Let's see if we save the draft, that show full reference. Let's see if it does update for all of them. It should. Oh, that's interesting. It didn't update for those. Oh, in any case, you might have to do that for some options. You might have to do for every single block. If we go to book and chapter style, layout, book and chapter layout. Okay, show full reference. Some options you have to do per block. Others, the general styling should apply to all of the blocks. Save draft. And if you go to the block, the customizer. Okay, let's preview again. If we go to our customizer, BibleGet plugin styles, we can choose the styling preferences from here too. You don't have the layout options, such as centering the Bible version. However, you do have the options for changing font size and changing the border width and styling options. So the Bible version styles, EM, you can see that the choices that we made in the block styling options have been synced over to the customizer. So you can see that the color has picked up here, the font style. And if you change them here, they will again be saved and synced over to the block styling. That way we have consistency between our customizer styling options and our block styling options, and they will apply for all blocks. In our general styles, we can see that our border width 1, we can change that to 2. Line height 1.15, 1.5, double. Let's say we wanted the font to be a little bit bigger here. General styles, that would be verse text styles. Let's say we put that to EM. So we have one EM here. That's pretty easy to read now. And let's say the book and the chapter, we want them to be a little bit bigger. So book and chapter styles. Put that to EM, and let's say we don't want them quite as big. We can put that 0.9 EM. Okay, and let's say we want to change the color for the book and the chapter. We want to put like a bright red there. Publish. Now those changes should have picked up for all blocks, not only on this page but on any other page, so that there will always be visual consistency between your Bible quotes. And if you were to close this page here and open it again, I believe that it should have picked up those changes. Yes. So now if you go and choose a block, you will see that even in the styling options over here, let's say general styles, oh, the border width, there isn't any, this still says 1 even though it's showing 2. I'll have to look into that, but in any case you can see the book in the chapter styles, font color, it did pick up the red there. So yeah, most things were synced over. There's a few quirks that I have to look into. But generally you should have a fairly consistent experience between the WordPress customizer and the block editor. One word of caution, just in case you don't see the results here when you're getting a Bible quote. I saw this happen once for when you're choosing more than one version. It might not update and show you the results. It might say something about a JSON error. And on my side, the problem there was because of my Nginx configuration, which needed a larger buffer for proxying PHP requests. So if you do see a JSON error, that could be the case. If you need any help working through that, please write on the support forums and we can work it over together. Very well. I hope you enjoy.